What's good? What's good, ladies and gentlemen? RFG back at it today to go over a very important subject that, a lot of people have requested me to touch on. This is basically going to be breaking down Nikola Tesla's natal chart, showing how the stars and planets were aligned around the Earth at the moment of his birth, and just a lot of information that, most people missed and didn't research about this individual. Okay, Nikola Tesla was a person who had, mostly good intentions for humanity, and the people around him. But it's very crazy because everybody he associated himself with was the complete opposite and ended up setting him up in the future. You see what I'm saying? The people he trusted in his circle, okay, ended up being his downfall. Okay, and I'm getting ready to show you guys that by looking at his natal chart right here. Okay, this is this is Nikola Tesla's natal chart. Nikola Tesla. Okay, as we see, his ascendant was in Taurus. Okay, he had a Taurus ascendant, which means when people first met this individual, they saw him as very down to earth, very practical, very calm natured, and somewhat peace loving. Okay, another thing about Nikola Tesla was he was born July 10th, which is sun energy in Cancer. Okay, sun energy in Cancer, because what is the number 10? The number 10 comes from Aten, which is, the sun. So numbers like 1, 10, 19, and 28 all add up to go back to the number 1. Okay, when you add a 1 and a 0, you still get a 1. You add a 2 and an 8, you get a 10, which is still a 1. You add a 1 and 9, you get 10, which is still 1. The number 1 is ruled by the sun. See that orange circle with the dot in the middle? That's the sun. Okay? His sun was in Cancer, of course, because he was a Cancer, but by him being born on the 10th of the month gave him a small portion of Leo traits. Okay? So Cancer being ruled by the moon. Okay, he was born in early July, so he was a Cancer on the 10th, born on the 10th, so he had a small portion of Leo traits. So that basically gave him an Alpha Omega placement, which is the sun and moon in his general zodiac sign. So, like I said, his ascendant was in Taurus. Okay, when you look at the two other planets that were placed in his first house, you have Pluto and you have Uranus. Now, people with Pluto in their first house, okay, they can come off the polar opposite of what Taurus represents. Because remember, Pluto is the polar opposite of Taurus. So this individual could have also come off as very overly aggressive as you got to know him, very somewhat domineering, almost obsessive compulsive in a way, because Pluto is also the planet of obsession. Pluto right here. Okay, and that was in his first house. Ladies and gentlemen, your first house right here is the I am. Okay, it is the overall demeanor. It rules your brain. It rules how you portray yourselves to the outside world around you. Okay, that's what the first house is all about. Okay, so once again, we have Pluto here, which symbolizes the desire for power, obsession, magnetic energy, also a somewhat domineering personality that Nikola Tesla could have acquired. Right here, we have Uranus, okay, in his first house. Now, this is very interesting because Uranus is actually the planet that symbolizes artificial technology. Okay, If you look this up in astrology, the planet that rules over artificial technology and inventions in general, okay, that is ruled by Uranus. Uranus rules innovative thinking, okay, inventors, artificial technology, scientific intelligence. That is all ruled by Uranus, okay? And Uranus was in Nikola Tesla's first house of his brain function and his demeanor, okay? This is very, very mind-boggling, to say the least, when we look at, his natal chart, because this is personifying, who he was in his life, just by looking at this, okay? We also have Mercury, Saturn, and Venus in his third house. What does the third house represent? The third house represents our ability to think and communicate, and our siblings, our siblings in our life, okay? I believe Nikola Tesla had 2 siblings. He had a sister, he had a brother, okay? This is all shown in this third house. With Saturn in the third house, he may have had a Capricorn sibling. With Mercury in the third house, he could have had a Virgo or a Gemini sibling. And with Venus there in the third house, he could have had a Libra or a Taurus sibling. Okay? He also had Sun. He also had Sun in his fourth house. The fourth house rules our connection to our mother figure in our life. So Nikola Tesla had a very, very strong connection to his mother figure. And if you read, his life documents and some of his, biographies, bibliographies, or whatever, you will find he had a very, very strong connection to his mother figure. Okay, that is what the sun in the fourth house represents. Okay, we also have the moon and and Mars in his sixth house of analytical ability. The sixth house is originally ruled by Virgo. The sixth house rules our Virgo characteristics, our ability to analyze and criticize. So he had Moon and Mars there, which shows he had a very powerful ability to analyze and criticize things and people around him. Okay, that is what Mars is. That's what it represents. Okay, fire planets, okay, show our most powerful activity in our life. Fire planets are Mars, Sun, and Jupiter. Okay, now speaking of that, we go to all the way to his 12th house of Pisces. Okay, which is he has Neptune and Jupiter. Now we all know that Neptune rules the house of Pisces, which is 12. Okay, when you're using 12 astrology, Jupiter, wherever Jupiter is located, is an area of life that you will never have problems in, because Jupiter rules constant expansion, and God's fortune, the Creator's fortune, set out for your life. Okay, so Neptune being already in, Neptune is actually in Pisces here, and the 12th house here is ruled by Pisces energy. So he had Neptune in Pisces and Jupiter in his 12th house. So this gave this man intuition that was so powerful and astonishing that this man was destined to be an enlightened guru. He was destined to be a spiritual enlightened guru. Okay, he was destined to use his highest chakra for the embetterment of humans on this planet. Okay, that is what Jupiter in the 12th house represents. That is what Neptune in the 12th house represents. Very, very, very powerful. The 12th house, the part of the body that this rules, is the pineal gland. He had a very enlarged and active pineal gland. Okay, let's take a look let's take a look at Nikola Tesla. Look at Nikola Tesla. Okay, let's look at him. He had very, very dark eyes, very, very dark hair, very dark facial hair, which shows he had African descent. Okay, he had, I mean, if you look at him, he doesn't look any different than an Italian or a Sicilian people. Okay, these people in Southern Europe were known as the original Slavs. The original Slavs, which is a prefix of slave. These were the original slaves created in Kemet, but they were created, you see what I'm saying, by using melanated DNA, people. So the original Caucasian, so-called white people, share a piece of African DNA, and some of them had a high melanin, neuromelanin count in their DNA. Okay, and this showed up in Nikola Tesla. Okay, he had an enlarged pineal gland, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, like Dr. Layla Africa stated in many lectures, there's two melanin counts. One in the skin, which gives you your skin shade, and the other one, the other melanin count, is the most important, and it is produced in the pineal gland. And that melanin produced in the pineal gland is going to determine how psychic someone is, how connected to spirituality someone is, how righteous, how spiritually righteous someone is, and how intuitive and intelligent someone is. Okay, and when we look at his chart, okay, he had probably the two most powerful planets you could possibly have in the house of Pisces, in the 12th house. Okay, I just have Jupiter in my 12th house. I don't have Neptune in that house as well. This man had Neptune and Jupiter in his house of Pisces. Okay, which, like I said, the two most powerful planets you could possibly have in that house. Okay, period. Okay, when you like I said, when you look at his first house, he had the planet that rules Aquarius in his first house, which gave him Aquarius innovative, inventive, humanitarian characteristics to begin with, because the first house rules your overall demeanor, your brain function, okay, and how the outside world is going to perceive you. That's the first house. Okay, and he had Uranus there, which is the planet of innovative technology, being eccentric, having an innovative, inventive mind, okay, and using that for humanitarianism. That is what Uranus rules. That was in his first house. Okay, Pluto in his first house also shows that he may have had some kind of secret power tip, or may have loved or craved power and domination secretly. Okay, Mars and Moon in the 6th house shows that he was somewhat of a master of analytical ability. Okay, and when we have Jupiter and Neptune in his 12th house, this shows that this man's intuition was on a whole nother level. Okay, so that basically sums that up. Also, what's very interesting is, if you do your research on Nikola Tesla's death, this man was actually assassinated by Hitler's hitmen, by Hitler's right-hand man. Okay, if you do your research, Nikola Tesla was actually suffocated to death, and the FBI, ladies and gentlemen, the FBI confiscated all of his papers, all of his projects, went into his laboratory and basically ransacked it. Okay, took everything, all of his inventions, everything. Okay, and like I stated in earlier lectures, nothing is new under the sun. The technology that Nikola Tesla came across, okay, was brought to him by individuals in his country that were associated with the Moors in Kemet. Okay, if you don't believe me, just look up the Baghdad battery. Go look up the Baghdad battery, okay, and look at the Kemetic texts in the pyramids that show the battery charging for light inside of the pyramids themselves, people. Ladies and gentlemen, oxygen is very low when you go inside the pyramid chambers. So they weren't able to light torches down there, people. So how did they get light down there? The original Egyptians already had their own source of electrical power. Okay? Period, point blank. Okay? All Nikola Tesla did was stumble upon that information, and according to his natal chart, he was destined to stumble upon that information and bring it to the light. Bring it to the light. Use it for the embetterment of humanity. Okay? That's what he was trying to do. Unfortunate enough, everybody he associated himself with was a Zionist Jew or a Freemason who, was currently in control of the modern inventions at that time. And J.P. Morgan and Thomas Edison, were in on his death. Okay? And they ordered Adolf Hitler to send his hitman. I'm not sure what the exact article is, but I'm going to post it on my Facebook. I'm going to share it on my Facebook, okay, because they have documented evidence that he had an interview, Nikola Tesla had an interview with two of Hitler's right-hand men, okay, and a day later, he ended up dead. He died of asphyxiation. Nikola Tesla died of asphyxiation. They suffocated him to death, and only a day later, the FBI raided his laboratory and confiscated all of his papers, all of his inventions, okay, and everything that he tried to imagine to create, for a better world for this society. And that technology was reverse engineered to create everything they're using to enslave us today. Okay? They're not going to use that technology for the embetterment of humans. They're going to use it for the opposite reasons. Okay? Because they serve, you see what I'm saying? These Zionist Jews who are all about being parasites off of the populace. Okay? So, we all serve a purpose. We all have a destiny. And we all have an overall choice whether we want to, live out the positive aspect of our natal chart or the negative aspect of our natal chart. Because there's no complete perfect aspect to a placement in a chart. You have a positive outcome of that placement and you have a negative outcome of that placement. Okay? Everything has a positive and a negative in this universe. Okay? As above, so below. 13 wisdom. To everybody who supports RFG movement, I appreciate everyone who supported RFG movement and Atlantean movement. I'll be doing a lot more of these natal charts in the future. I'm gonna go ahead and do Malcolm X's natal chart next, and like I said, I'm gonna keep it rolling, ladies and gentlemen. So like, subscribe, leave a comment. It's RFG.